There was a woman came up that hill on the back side and lured Summer out of there. Went in the house. Grandma distracted Candace long enough for this to happen.
What on earth is next in the Summer Wells case? The last thing I listened to before I went to sleep last night, and I went to sleep quite early because I'd not had much sleep the night before because I'd stayed up watching live streams, was AB's channel and a phone call between a man whose voice I couldn't make out and a woman who I believe to be Tiffany Marie. The first thing I watched this morning when I woke up was Crime Stories Obsessed, who had got a shortened version. She clipped the key element of this phone call. If you want to hear the full phone call, go to AB's channel or a clip at Crime Stories Obsessed. I'll leave a link to both of those in the description box. I've slowed this audio down and it's very clear who this is, in my opinion. I believe this is 423 Chase talking to Tiffany Marie, and I've looked at comments in my Facebook group and apparently 423 Chase has confirmed that it's him on a live, but I haven't seen that, so if anybody can just drop me a link to that live, that would be great, in the comments or in my Facebook group if you're a member. If you'd like to be a member of my Facebook group, then yeah, click the link in the description box and request to join. It's as simple as that. So in this video we're going to discuss this quite briefly because I don't really have a lot to say on it at the moment, and we're going to get into the Cleo Smith case. We're going to do a complete overview of the case, what happened and where we're up to with that at the moment. Stay tuned. If you haven't heard the full phone call and you don't know what the hell is going on, well, join the club, because neither do I. So I don't know what the context of this phone call was. I don't know where. I'm going to say 423 Chase. If it's not him, then I apologise. I don't know where 423 Chase got the information from. I don't know what his source was. How does he know this? How old is this phone call? How long ago was this information known by members of the true crime community who've been raising money for Summer, for the billboard? Wasn't 423 Chase the one who organised the billboard? I believe it was. A great job. Great job, well done. So how old is this phone call? Is this brand new information? Do we know who this man is who waited down the bottom of the drive? Do we know who this woman is who came up onto the property and lured Summer away? Do we know why Grandma would have done this? And most importantly, 423 Chase says he doesn't know where Summer is, but is she safe? All of that, of course, is if this can be believed at all. Because if this is true, then Don and Candice are innocent. Grandma is guilty of, I don't know, organising a kidnapping, but for good reason. I've just got so many questions about this. I'm finding it difficult to believe. Now, Grandma did disappear, allegedly to, was it Illinois or somewhere, to look after her sister's husband who'd had a heart attack. How long ago was that? It was, what was it, about, I don't know, I want to say like 2 weeks or something. Somebody filmed it, I can't remember. 2 weeks? That sounds about right. Because she was still there when they did the that press conference thing at their home. You know, the one that everybody's analysed to the minutest degree. I've just got too many questions about this. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to have to digest it. At this moment in time, I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. I'm not saying that 423 Chase is lying, but I just want to know how credible his source is. How close to the family is this source? And why has this source not come forward sooner? You know, Grandma is now back at 110 Ben Hill Road, but according to this phone call, she's gone again to make sure that Summer is safe. Well, is she not sure Summer is safe? So it would be great news if this was true, but without further information, I'm sorry guys, I'm just not buying this. I'm just not. There's been so much misinformation in this case. Quite frankly, I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything anybody says anymore, unless I have proof that I can in some way verify. But the FBI knows. Well, what are the FBI doing about it? You know, Don and Candice are living their life. You know, they were on another channel last night, and the look on Candice's face when Dale, who's the woman in the middle on this photograph, who goes and visits them at weekends, says that she doesn't ask and she, you know, she's eating the food and she believes them. Just the look on Candice's face, the look, that micro expression she gave to Don. I don't know, you tell me what you think that means. If the grandma story's true, the Dr. Phil, the behaviour panel, that's all just been one big jolly. I'm just not buying it. I'm telling you now, I'm just not buying it. I'm really not. So let me know what you think in the comments. But we're now going to move on to Cleo Smith. She deserves some attention. She's been missing since the 16th of October, about 1:30 a.m. on the 16th of October. It was a Saturday when her mother last saw her. So we're going to get into that. It's very, very rainy. I've got my taller wellies on today. They're actually my son's wellies, so they're 3 sizes too big for me. But that's okay. And I'm going to go and see how deep this is. Do you remember, if you watched yesterday's video, I tried to do it, but I only had ankle boots on. So I felt a little bit exposed. It stopped raining yesterday, but it's been raining in the night, but I'm not sure how much it's rained in the night. But if you remember, like 2 days ago, before this torrential rain started, this was a path, and it's now up to, it's gone up past my ankles. It just shows you. Somebody in my comments yesterday when I was here trying to walk in this pond said, you know, you've demonstrated what happened in the Brian Laundrie case, just how quickly, you know, like trails can become marsh. This is very soft underneath. I am sinking a little bit. It's not too deep. But yeah, all these are trails. But because this is low-lying land, and because the ground is generally saturated round here anyway, then it floods. We've got a lot of areas here. I mean, I'm okay in my village because it's quite hilly. But a few miles away, there's a village who floods. They've got 2 rivers running through the village, and they flood, and it's dreadful. And people end up like out of their homes. It just gets so bad so quickly, just really, really, really quickly. So I can understand how the reserve, the Maiakihachi Reserve. Oh, this is sinking sand. This. I'm going to try and get under here. I want to walk in this bigger one over here. Right, I'm going to have to duck. Sorry, guys. Oh! No! It's gone in my welly. Oh, there was a really deep part. Oh, this is deep. Whoa. Whoa. Just shows you how quickly this stuff can happen. But we're not talking about Brian Laundrie today. We're talking about Cleo Smith. Oh, no, this really is deep. I'm not going to be able to walk through there. I'm sinking. All right for a little dog, but not for someone of my weight and stature. But yeah, look, that's where the trail is meant to come. Completely underwater. We'll go back the way we came. I'm stuck now. We'll go back this way. Dear me. Well, she's loving it. And it's fresh water, so it's not too dirty. And then we get all these little temporary creeks that offshoot Tanyard Brook, which is a little creek. The rivulet, shall we say. There we go. There we go. I'm free. I'm free. Don't need to send out the rescue teams. I know what I'm doing, guys, honestly. I've played in these woods since I was a little kid. And I'm still a little kid in my head, even though I've got an old body now. Okay, right, back to the video.
If you know anything at all, call the police, because we want our daughter back. And she wants us. Our daughter, Isla, she needs her big sister. We need her home.
On Friday, 15th of October, Cleo Smith and her partner of 2.5 years, Jake Glidden, took their 4-year-old daughter, Cleo, and their little baby, Isla, camping. They're seasoned campers. They've camped since they were kids. I believe they've known each other since they were kids. But 4-year-old Cleo isn't Jake's natural child, so he's her stepdad. I don't know what the story is about Cleo's biological father, but Jake has known Cleo since she was a little baby. And according to all accounts, he's bringing her up as his own. Isla is Jake and Ellie's child. They arrived at the campsite, and there is an audio recording that the owner of the campground, which is the Blowholes Campground, it's about 75 kilometres north of Carnarvon, where the family live, caught Cleo's voice. Now, on this news report, for whatever reason, I can't open the audio. It just won't play for me. I don't know whether it's because I'm not in Australia, but I'll leave a link to it in the description box, just in case you can play it in your area. But Cleo, hey, in the early days of this, and it's still very early days, obviously, but, you know, people were saying she didn't even arrive at the campground, this was a ruse, she was already dead before they arrived. No, she wasn't. She was at the campground, she's caught on audio, she's on surveillance at the campground. So she was there, right? So we can dispel that myth right here, right now. The campground itself, Blowholes Campground, you don't have to pre-book on their website, but what their website says is that you need to pay online when you arrive. I assume you might be able to pay to somebody like in cash, I don't know, but that's what's recommended. But the important thing is everybody at the campground is checked every day. You know, their registration is checked every day. So you can't just turn up at the campground and not pay. You've got to pay to be on there. So they have your name, your bank details, right? That's really crucial to this story, I believe, anyway, at this stage. Cleo went to bed about 8 o'clock. The tent that they had was quite a big one. It's not just one of those little, like, two-men tents. It's one of those tents that, you know, it's got different rooms, I guess, divided up. So there was a divider, and Cleo and baby Isla were sleeping in one part of the tent, and then Ellie and Jake in the other. So Cleo went to bed at 8 p.m, and she slept, and then she woke up about 1:30 a.m. for a drink of water. Ellie gave her a drink of water, told her to get back into bed. Now, there has been some criticism about what Ellie said on one of the interviews she did, that, you know, at 8 p.m. she tucked Cleo in, she made sure she was warm, and, you know, she tucked her sleeping bag under her mattress so she was nice and cosy so she could go to sleep. But at 1:30, all she said was go back to bed. Now, is that a red flag? I don't know. You know, when you're tired, I don't know if that's a red flag. But a lot of people are analysing the parents' interviews. They've done several. They've done an appeal to the public. The behaviour panel has analysed them and said that, yeah, some red flags actually, in their opinion, aren't really red flags and it looks like they're innocent. But they've said that about Don and Candice, and so did I. So did I in those early days. But I'm going to tell you that, I don't know, I think the mum is, she looks sincere to me. People are saying she's emotionless and she's not crying. That's not true. She's fighting back tears the whole time. And then there is one clip right at the end of this particular interview where she just breaks down. Jake, on the other hand, looks quite emotionless. He looks scared. He looks nervous. Who wouldn't be in that situation? You know, you kind of know as the stepdad that you're going to be in the frame. So even if he's completely innocent, isn't he going to be scared of those accusations? And they are starting on social media. They absolutely are. But I'm firmly in the camp of these people are innocent until I have information that makes me think otherwise. So at this early stage, 2 weeks into this, I'm going to assume that the parents are innocent and this is an abduction. If further information comes out, like it did with Don and Candice, then I will change my opinion. So my opinion is fluid. My opinions are always fluid. And they're evidence-based, which is why I theorise and I change my theories. I change my ideas as new information comes to light. I'm not wedded to any one theory in any case. So at this moment... Hello. At this moment... What do you want? Hello. She freaks out when I do that. Good girl. Come on. She loves this weather. She loves it. She was a duck in a previous life. Or a pig. I don't know which. The owner of Blowhole's Campground, had many panicked calls. About 6 to 6:30 on the morning of the 16th of October. Many panic calls of people just flooding into the campground to try to find Cleo. The zipper to the tent was open. Allegedly it was open higher than what Cleo could manage to do herself. And her sleeping bag was gone. So the police, very quickly discerned that she'd not just wandered off and got into trouble. They're looking at this as an abduction. So many family, friends, they're now speaking out about the terror that they all felt and just the hopelessness that started to befall them as they realised that they couldn't find her. She wasn't there. Jake and Ellie stayed for several days. I think they stayed till the following Friday until the searches had pretty much concluded that she wasn't at the campground. So they had dogs, they've had drones, they've had dive teams, they've had helicopters, they've had the works out there, right? And they haven't found a thing. So the chances of her, getting out on her own and going out for a wander on her own, you never know with a 4-year-old, but how would she be able to get her sleeping bag out of the tent? I don't think she's wandered off. I think we can pretty much discount that. We've got to speculate on the parents. At the moment, I said I believe they're innocent till proven to me otherwise. If they'd murdered her in the night, this is a campground. There's people with tents all around. This was quite busy. There was other campers there. So if they'd killed her, wouldn't there be some kind of ruckus? It wouldn't have been a planned murder, but if this was, somebody flipped, either Ellie or Jake flipped out in the night for whatever reason and murdered Cleo, flipping out, that kind of rage killing is generally quite noisy. And where would they have been able to take her body? Now, obviously, the police will have taken their phones. I don't know whether they've got GPS in their vehicle, but I suppose you could say, well, you could leave your phone in the tent, take her off somewhere. I understand all of that. You know, it's on the table, but in my opinion, I need a lot more information for me to say, yeah, I'm side-eyeing these parents. At the moment, I'm not. My eyes are firmly to the front. No side-eyeing at this moment in time. So, there has been witness accounts of a car being heard, like screeching off, around 3 to 3:30. So there's been appeals for surveillance. I think it's Cleo's uncle, it looks like it, on Instagram, is posting, you know, advice from the police. If you're in that area, if you're within 100, 200 kilometres of that area of Carnarvon in Western Australia, please check your cameras, check everything you have, check everywhere, check your own property, check your workplace, check everywhere, please. If you're in that vicinity, within, I'd say 100, 200 kilometres, because by the time the alarm was raised, Cleo was long gone. And people have said, who would abduct a child from a tent? You know, it's just disgusting, it's awful. Ellie has said that herself. But this happens. This type of abduction is much more likely, in my opinion, than someone coming up on the Welsh property and stealing summer. We know that people interested in children frequent campgrounds. And what's interesting, in a conference one of the police officers gave the other day, and I didn't save it, and I wish I had, I'm going to have to go back and find it, said that they haven't been able to track down all of the campers yet. Now, he said he's not too concerned at this time because, you know, they might be off-grid. Campers, you know, if they're going around from site to site up the coast, they might not have heard. So if you're in that area, if you're in Western Australia, if you're anywhere up that coast, make damn sure that you publicise it everywhere, so that any innocent camper who was there who hasn't heard this story contacts the police, contact Crime Stoppers. Any news at all, any inkling at all. If you're in Western Australia, if you're up that coast or down that coast, please do this for Cleo. As Cleo's uncle keeps saying on Instagram, be Cleo's hero, bring Cleo home. This conference though was a few days ago, so I don't know where they're up to with that at this moment. Hopefully, you know, they've tracked all the campers down. But if there are campers that didn't register or registered and who've now disappeared, well, those are the people that I'm going to be side-eyeing, right? Because it would be so easy to have seen Cleo playing out around the camp, know what tent she's in, and as the gall, a disgusting individual who is able to sneak into a tent when everyone's asleep, let's say at 3 a.m, and there's no sound coming from a tent. You know when someone's asleep because there's no sound coming from it. Sneak in, Cleo's nicely tucked up in her sleeping bag, and just grabs Cleo. You know, chloroform's a thing, guys. Stick something over her head and pick that sleeping bag up and they're gone. That's all it takes. That is all it takes. So at this moment, that's where we're up to. I don't know any more at this current time, but I will continue to follow this case. I'll continue to look at every angle, as I always do, in an objective manner, and I'll be back on this case when there's any updates to report. So please, 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 if you're in Western Australia, please publicise Cleo Smith, age 4. Beautiful little girl is missing. You could be Cleo's hero. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Go home and dry my right foot because it's soaking. I've been Michelle. I hope you're doing well. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye from Miss Tillington and goodbye from Miss Cassie Springer, who's gone off down the hill. See you soon, guys. Don't forget Crime Stories Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time for the premiere. Go over to Michelle Walks, and there is very soon going to be a YouTube short telling you what case I'm doing. Bye, folks.